Hey, good morning. Welcome to Hobby Evolution episode 780 or 790. I can't remember where we're at. Good morning. Happy Tuesday. Jenny said Taco Tuesday, so I want to talk tacos. Want to talk a little food talk. Where's Uncle Rich? We're going to talk some food to start the day. It's also Hall of Fame Day. Ooh, that's the first sip. Very delicious coffee. Trader Joe's this morning. Hall of Fame Day. So we find out after doing a little research, I think we're going to get Hall of Famers today. I have, up until like this morning, I have thought nobody is going into the Hall of Fame on this writer's ballot. The two leading vote getters will fall short, which happen to be Scott Rolen and Todd Helton. I have since changed my mind, and I'll tell you why. Coming up, hopefully it won't be an hour and 20 minutes before I tell you why. But listener beware, it might be the hour mark before we talk Hall of Fame. It depends how off the rails our Chad gets. Speaking of off the rails, a friend of mine sent a video. I didn't see the Damar Hamlin video from Sunday, or was it Sunday? Whenever the Bengals and Bills played, I didn't watch much of that game. I think the game that I watched, I think I watched like the third quarter. But I had heard Damar Hamlin was in attendance. What I did not see was the video of Damar Hamlin like entering the stadium and like from the press box. It was freaking weird. Like he was hiding his face. Like even the video of him in the suite was like obscured. It was really, really bizarre. And I know there's a lot of conspiracy theories. Oh, that's not Damar Hamlin. He's still in the hospital or he died. And that's just a replacement. And then Damar Hamlin like made light of that situation and made some tweet that, it's what did he say? Can't remember whatever word he used. But it was really weird. And it almost was like it was a stand-in, and they're trying to hide that this is not, in fact, Damar Hamlin. It was just, if you go back and watch some of the videos, just really weird. Let's see. Let's go to the chat. Ed, what's happening? Good morning. Johnny Boy Cards in the house. We've got Christian, what's up? Paige and Deanie Bean, what is up? Dean and Andrew are listening in. Brian says early, bam, or he's late. Let's see. I think what time did I go on live? 7:10? Par for the course, right? I try to go on at 7 a.m. Central, but, sometimes I'm lazy in the morning. Happy Taco Tuesday. I want to talk about tacos today. Zach and Porter, what is up? Good morning. Victor, Boston Smoke, Terry, David, what is up all? Augusta Lawn Care, good morning to you. JG wants to know, when do the voting results come out? It's kind of a strange time. I think it's like 3 o'clock Central today, which you would think they would save it until prime time. I was watching MLB Network yesterday, and it's like, tune into the vote, 4 o'clock Eastern. I'm like, 4 o'clock Eastern? That's 3 o'clock Central. That's a really bizarre time to make an announcement such as the Hall of Fame. You would think they'd want to capture a bigger audience on TV. So 3 o'clock Central this afternoon is when the results from the BBWAA, what is it? Baseball Writers Association of America, I believe. Raphael, what is up? Good morning. Steve Ains Comedy, good morning to you. Listed 50 cards yesterday, sold 3 of them. Go me. That's a good return in 24 hours or less. That's a great return. George, what's happening? George is Focus Tilt Photo. Good to have you back. I think it's been a few days. Let's see. Jenny says, your reaction when I said Kittle's fast face mask catch told us you didn't watch the game. Nope, I did not. In fact, I did not watch a single second of the 49ers game. Not a single second. I did watch about roughly a quarter of the Bengals-Bills game, but I did not have any of the 49ers game on. Good morning, Rep and Rajon Rondo. Congrats, Steve. Keep it up. Gets better every day. I would agree with Augusta on that take. Jenny says, or should I say no reaction? right? DB Cooper, perhaps, right? Kyle Katz, what's up? Good morning to you. And Hobby Evolvers, I love it. Just finished up choosing my film for my trip to Japan that starts 7 days from now. Very cool. Excuse me. Terry says, sold my last Helton rookie last night. I had about 5 of them a few weeks ago. I sold a couple over the weekend. I sold a couple Todd Heltons, 1 rookie. And I mean, come on, Hall of Fame, potential Hall of Famer rookie cards. They were in my store. I don't know if I have any left. $1.50 free shipping. Zach and Porter says they used to announce it at noon, but they do it at 3 now to mirror how long their game takes. Sorry, too soon. Good morning, Herman. What's up? Did you hear they announced the new neutral game site? I did not. Dan, what's up? Good morning. Hall of Fame announcement show is 3 hours long. Reveal will be towards the end of that window. Aha. So it'll probably sneak into prime time by the time they get to the announcement. Wesley collects cards. Let's get Wagner in the Hall of Fame. Let's see, where are we at on the Billy Wagner front as far as balloting? Billy Wagner, where are you, Billy Wagner? Billy. Ooh, he's on his 8th. Although he's at percentage of ballots, he's at 74%. So he's going to come close. Billy Wagner's going to come close. He's not going to make it. You can count on that this year. But he's making up some ground. Augusta says in Dallas so they can experience what it's like to host an NFC championship game. But Augusta Lawn Care with the comedic that's Steve Ains's job. Augusta, you're taking Steve Ains Comedy's job. Let's see. Yes, Augusta, I heard it was in Dallas. Mike O, what's up? 5:00 Central Time will be the announcement. SotoCAD Collectibles, good morning all, except those making Cowboys jokes. Jenny says, what comes first, Billy Wagner in the Hall of Fame or Bears in first? Bears in first. It's going to happen next year. Billy Wagner's not going to make the Hall of Fame this year, and the Bears will be in first place by the time Billy Wagner, he might get elected on next year's ballot. So, but the Bears, let's see. Oh, yeah, we're already in the NFL playoffs. So the Bears will already have won the NFC North by the time Billy Wagner gets elected next Hall of Fame ballot. You heard it here first. Does Bo have a hobby YouTube virtual Hall of Fame yellow jacket yet? I have no idea what that means. Sorry, had to get just one in after all the crap we got saying they were going to beat us all year. I'm done. Andrew says, I finally did the card room tour of my collection. There's the link. Sweet. I'll check that out. Paul says, good morning. What's up, Paul? Scott Rolen for the Hall of Fame. Diego, what's up? Good to see you. You're going to like my opinion because I think Scott Rolen is going to get in. SotoCAD, smiley face. James, what's up? Good morning to you. Jenny says, hey, Diego, long time no see in the chat. Nukes Cards, what is happening? Let's see. John says, had a request to open shipping to Hawaii and Alaska. Any drawbacks? I didn't even know, to start, I didn't even know you could restrict shipping to Hawaii and Alaska. I didn't know that was an option. To answer your question, I have had 0 drawbacks. I've shipped a lot to Hawaii and Alaska. John limits to 48 states. I've had no issues. It's the same cost. I mean, it's the same cost. Hawaii and Alaska postage is the same as West Coast. So I've had no issues with Hawaii and Alaska. Knock on wood. I can't think of a single issue that I've had out of all the shipments I've sent out. I mean, in comparison to other states, obviously it's a low number, but I've had a decent amount of volume that have gone to Alaska and Hawaii. Let's see. Shaw Cards, what's happening? Good morning. Just Inventory says hit 3,000 items in the eBay store yesterday. Hope everyone is doing well this morning. That is awesome. I tell you what, once you hit 1,000 is like, when it comes to eBay listings, 1,000 is that first like breakthrough milestone, because I remember fighting to get to 1,000 listings. And finally, when I did, and it seemed like once I got to 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 and on, seemed like much easier. Let's see. John says, I bill edited to include the 50 now. Not sure why it's an eBay option. That is weird, but I guess shipping to the contiguous 14 states is like, sometimes I see that on back in the, remember the old like 900, call 900 909 9900. That's the WCW hotline, by the way. The infomercials to get your CD. Elvis Presley sings, or the I loved the old country infomercials. Down in the West Texas town of El Paso, I fell in love. Marty Robbins. What else? White sport coat, with a pink carnation. So me and my friends would like mock those classic country hits, because they were always in 1996. They were always playing those old infomercials on the old songs. And then now, that's what I call music. Volume 1. Now there's like 140 volumes. People still buy CDs, apparently. Anyway, no more singing from Bo. That's 2 days in a row. I will give it up for the rest of the week. Jenny says, wait, I have to turn on shipping to Alaska and Hawaii. I have no idea. I don't know what the default option. I guess it depends on what your default option is. I would assume you would have to turn off anything. I would assume eBay, like the default option for shipping is eBay says you ship everywhere, and then you have to go in and say, no, I don't want to ship internationally. No, I don't want to ship to Alaska and Hawaii. No, I don't want to ship to wherever. Let's see. Diego says, just work busy along, and it skipped ahead. Just work busy along with most of the time being in this background. Let's see. Augusta says, yeah, my goal was to get to 1250 by the Super Bowl. Dan has shipped a decent amount to Hawaii as well. JG says, Hawaii postal workers are excellent. Always scan the PWE upon delivery. That's good to hear. Let's see. Flipping Sports Guy says, took almost a month to get to 1K cards. Then in the following month, I shot up to 3,700. I think it's just, it's getting used to it. Like finding your rhythm and finding the most efficient way to list, because you're bending over backwards to get to 1,000 and you find out what's slowing you down. When I have people ask me like, I just don't know how you ship so fast. I don't know how you list so fast. And usually I can identify what's slowing you down. First things first, how do I list so fast? Well, I have a feed scanner and I use Card Dealer Pro. So that speeds up the process. How do I pull and ship so fast? I don't use bulk shipping. That would slow me down. You bulk shippers out there. But I pull and I have everything organized. I've gone through my organization in the past with my box 12, tab A, B, C, etc. So that's how I can pull fast. Where was I going with this? But I can usually identify when people are like, oh, it takes me an hour to do 10 items. It's like, no, it shouldn't take you 10 minutes per item. And so I ask, what's your process? And like, well, I always like to throw in extra cards, and that takes a little. I'm like, okay, stop doing that. I know it's nice and it's fun. It might, sometimes people do get annoyed by that. So I only typically add in extras to people I know, and I kind of know what they want. And then just not being organized is typically the number one thing. Not using a thermal label printer. That, buying a thermal label printer will save you a ton of time on the back end when it comes to shipping. Let's see. Dan, what's happening? Good morning to you. Just Inventory says, yeah, it has snowballed since 1,000 listings. Now I'm going to get a scanner and Card Dealer Pro. Excellent. Flipping Sports Guy says, got easier as you get your systems down. Most definitely. Uncle Rich, we're going to talk food. just in time, Uncle Rich, for Food Talk. Like, subscribe. Thank you, Uncle Rich, because it's Taco Tuesday, and I want to share my take on Taco Tuesday. Hawaii postal workers hijacked a package I had for 3 days. I don't trust people who don't wear shoes and drink out of a shell. Bo will give up singing for Lent. Herman says, I once got a hit off Billy Wagner. Really? I'll have to share the story sometime. Herman, got to hear that story. Augusta says, oh my God, had my first lost card yesterday, went through my 3 boxes card by card twice. I've had that happen. In fact, with what I shipped out this weekend, I think I had 2 cards that I could not find. Let's see. John says, my girlfriend once got hit on by Bon Jovi. He's actually in a Hall of Fame. He's actually in a Hall of Fame. Steve Ains Comedy. I wish someone would do a training video for processing listings in the shipping process. It would be helpful. Steve, I did a listing video for car dealer, like my listing process. How to ship faster or how to list faster, I think, in my YouTube channel. The Flipping Sports Guy says to Augusta, oh my God, I hate when they stick. I've had multiple times where I go, WTF, where is this card? Happens all the time. And that's why I had to change up the way I organize, because like the 90s cards, sometimes the copyright date is not like the actual date of the card. So it'll be like 90. So now it's like, okay, I got to look here. It's easily misplaced. Plus, you have to sort when you sort by year. There's a sorting process. If you just grab a stack of 100 cards and start listing and say these are going to go in box 10, tab A, boom, no sorting. List, stack away. When it comes to the order, this location is in box 10, tab A, boom, there's my card. Hopefully. Y'all talking Taco Tuesday, and I'm drunk. Gonna go warm up some carnitas while I listen on the headphones. Had my first sent the wrong card shipping. Had a chipper 177 and 777 next to each other. Obviously picked the wrong. Had that happen. I mean, once you start doing volume and you get more inventory and you're selling more, it happens. Unfortunately for me, it's happened more frequently. I have to slow down at times. You know, when you have 400 items to ship and you're in robotic mode. Sometimes that happens, unfortunately. And sometimes I need to slow down, and especially with the freaking Panini products with the green foil and the red foil and the black foil. It's like, oh, wait. And I caught a couple this weekend. It's like, oh, this person ordered the green foil and I didn't pull the green foil. Little flipperoo here. John says, George and Dan are finally getting packages from me, shipped today. Did you see Car Dealer Pro release the video yesterday on scanning Chrome cards with your fancy scanner? I did not see that, but I know they've done a video in the past, so this must be a new updated video. Let's talk food. It's Taco Tuesday, as Jenny mentioned. I've never, actually I shouldn't say never, because I've probably had tacos on a Tuesday in the 40 years of my life, but Taco Tuesday's never really been a thing. Now, growing up, and I wanted to share a story. Growing up, we had Taco Thursday. Thursday, for some reason, in my little neck of the woods growing up, Thursday was taco night. And there was several like bar restaurants that had Thursday night tacos. I don't know why that was. Why isn't it Taco Tuesday? Maybe because nobody goes out to eat on Tuesdays, but they go out on Thursdays. People want tacos when they go out. Thursday night's a good going out night. Tuesday's still kind of like, I want to stay in. I was out all weekend. Monday night, I'm staying home. Tuesday night, I'm staying home. And then it's that ascent toward interaction with other human beings. Wednesday, Thursday, into the weekend. Anyway, Taco Thursday was big around Anawan, Illinois. So we had Taco Thursdays at the Longhorn. So the Longhorn was this rustic-looking place. Man, I wish I had StreamYard so I could show you a photo of the Longhorn. It's still there. It's not called the Longhorn anymore. It's called, what the hell is it called now? Mix Place. Now back, it was like the hot spot in like the 70s and early 80s. It was called Hamp's Place. Now Hamp was I think he might have like been the originator of what became as the Longhorn, but it was Hamp's Place. He reminded me of the guy from Happy Days, the cook on Happy Days. That's what Hamp reminded me of. Hamp reminded me of Uncle Rich can help me out. What was the chef or the cook on Happy Days? So I think it was his taco recipe. For whatever reason, so we had tacos, and back in the day, growing up in the 90s, Thursday was Simpsons. Arthur, yes, Arthur. And then Al's. Was it Al's Place? Was that the name of the restaurant on the show? It was Hamp's Place pre-Bo, before I was born. And then it became, Arthur was Pat Morita. It was Al. Al is, Hamp reminded me of Al. So Thursday night taco night. Thursday growing up was also the Simpsons night. So back in the day, I think, did it start on Thursdays or did it start on Sundays and go to Thursdays? Anyway, I remember watching the Simpsons and eating Arnold. Maybe it was Arnold. Gosh dang it. Now I gotta Google it. I'm gonna look up Al Molinaro first because I think it was Al. It was Al. Yes, it was Al. Al is who Hamp reminded me of. Maybe his name was Arnold in the show. A's. Arthur, Al, Arnold, Al. Al is who Hamp reminded me of. So back in the Simpsons early days, Thursday night, Taco Thursday at the Longhorn. It was now called the Longhorn. Hamp was still there, though, but it was renamed the Longhorn. And the tacos, I have not found a restaurant that can replicate Longhorn tacos. I don't know what it was, but I think it was like a soft shell taco. It was almost like a gordita. Is that what the gordita crunch? But it was like the soft shell taco, but it was then like deep fried or something. Don't take diet or fitness or health advice from me, but whatever. It was, the tacos were freaking awesome from the Longhorn. It was Taco Thursday. I have not found a taco that replicates the Longhorn in 30 years. So no Tacos Tuesday for me. We do salmon Sundays in our house. Although my wife had a listing and accepted offer she had to go through on Sunday night. So we did not have salmon Sunday. We had salmon Monday. We had salmon last night. Salmon Monday. Tuesday, it might be like Sushi Tuesday. Like, you just want to order something tonight? Okay, let's go back into the chat. We've been talking about who in the hell was the restaurant guy on Happy Days. Let's see. Just Inventory says, speaking of cards, sold a lot of 12,000 postcards on eBay last week for $3,900 plus $279 shipping. Holy moly. Sold overnight, paid $150 at an antique store auction. That is amazing. That is awesome. That is a great deal. Let's see. George says, John's certainly looking forward to it and hoping for one of those sweet stickers to go on the film fridge. Okay, comment in, back to carnitas warming. Brian says that's why there's Taco Tuesday, so restaurants get you out. Blackened mahi tacos all day. Red Light 34, what is up? Bink Scott is from Bradford? No way! Bradford. Do you know Quincy? Quincy's one of my best friends. See, that's how small Bradford is. Quincy, my friend, is probably the only Quincy that has ever lived in Bradford. So when I say, do you know Quincy? If you're from Bradford, do you know Quincy? Bink Scott's probably going to be like, yeah, I know Quincy. So Quincy's one of my best friends. Let's see. Nothing says authentic Mexican like a restaurant named the Longhorn, right? That's what happens in small towns. You get names like that where they serve tacos, burgers, steak. They had great steak, which the Longhorn you would expect to be a great steakhouse. Let's see. Where we at? Brian K, what's happening? Brian Wolf. Barf was chef on You Can't Do That on Barf was chef on You Can't Do That on Television. Great show. John remembers watching The Simpsons from Tracy Ullman. That was not before my time, but before I remember things. Because that was what, 87, 88, when The Simpsons were on Tracy Ullman. I don't really remember much watching TV from that era. I remember Max Headroom. I remember Jake and the Fat Man. I remember My Two Dads. I know Dan, Korean Cardboard, just his ears perked up when I said My Two Dads. Stacy Keenan. Dan's a big Stacy Keenan fan. But I don't remember the Tracy Ullman show. I remember early Fox days. It was in my area, it was KLJB. And so their commercials, their promos on KLJB Fox, like back when it was a fledgling early network, they had like this husband-wife combo, and or maybe it wasn't husband-wife, but it was this man-woman combo. One's initials was KL, one was JB, and they did all these funny things. I wonder, now that I'm curious if there's any YouTube like early KLJB promos. KLJB promo from like 1988. Oh, wow. 1987 KLJB commercials. Let's see. KLJB, Fox 18. Come on. I want to see some old stuff. Damn. I don't see anything. I wonder if I just do KLJB. KLJB, Fox 18. KLJB commercials from the 80s. Oh, man. This might be my background as I ship this morning. KLJB Tugfest t-shirt commercial, 1990. Oh, wow. Okay, you don't want to listen to me look at YouTube thumbnails. Okay, where are we at? Let's see. Where are we at in the chat? Where are we at? When Bo says he wished he had StreamYard, he means he pays them a monthly subscription, just never turns them on. That is 100% accurate. I pay $25 a month to come on here every morning and say, I wish I was on StreamYard this morning. Bo, just do it, damn it. Al's was the restaurant. Mr. Miyagi took over for Al. Well, who was Al Molinaro? Al Molinaro, whoever that guy was, that is who reminds me of Hamp. Let's see. Cooter, what's up, Cooter? A restaurant named The Longhorn in Illinois. Go figure. Gonna have to look up for a taco place for the national meetup. There you go, Victor. And Victor knows, I think Victor will have having the Victor, what did you bring me? The Madison Card Show. Those were freaking delicious. Whatever those were. I can't remember what those were. Steve says salmon Sundays. Do you put hot fudge? But there's the Steve Ains comedy. Rich says, I love this food talk on infusion days when I can't eat until after I'm done. I'm sorry. Tuesdays in Bo's house are usually Pallet Tuesday. The wife has just accepted it. Hey, speaking of pallets, where's Low Roller Scratcher? Because he's bound and determined to ask me what my latest hit is. I've got to clear the back of my car out because I've got a card show this Saturday, Rockford, Illinois, IBEW Banquet Hall. I'll be there 9 to 3 with my trusty quarter boxes. So I'm starting to pull some of my still from 2 weeks ago, my pallet out. And I brought some stuff in and was watching Raw. Oh, I've got to talk wrestling too. Raw 30th anniversary was last night. So I was digging through in one of it was in a shoebox. There was a shoebox, which that's usually where the good stuff comes in, is like a shoebox or, like, believe it or not, like a Ziploc bag. So the shoebox had like new stuff, like 2022. Guess what was in there? Topps Chrome. Guess what was in there? Aaron freaking Judge. Yes, a 2022 Topps Chrome Aaron Judge, valued at $20. We still have 2 more months of the program. So I'll toss it on eBay for $15. The last one sold pretty quickly at 15. So that's my plan for it. So Aaron Judge Topps Chrome was in the pallet. There was also what really, like, that got me a little bit excited. What got me a lot excited was I pulled out a football card, and it's a rookie, and it's Panini Chronicles, which normally you don't get excited about that. But when I turned it over and I saw it's 2022, guess who also is in 2022 Panini Chronicles, or whatever the hell that set is? Brock Purdy. Unfortunately, there was not any Brock Purdy in this shoebox, but there was an Anthony Edwards rookie card. There was a couple other decent cards. There was a lot of basically quarter box stuff. I mean, it's, could be dollar cards. They would easily be $1.50 cards in my eBay store, but I'll just throw them in my quarter box for Saturday's show, except for the Judge and the Edwards. And I think there was a couple other cards that I set aside that I'll list for, a couple bucks. So that was Pallet Monday, I guess. Rich says to John, I remember Tracy Ullman had the bigger hit version of They Don't Know. But Christy McNoll had the better sung version, also wrote the song. Christy or Kirsty? Kirsty also sang the high notes on Tracy's They Don't Know. Haven't heard of any you Centralians weigh in on Culver switching to Coke. Here's a hot take. I don't care Pepsi or Coke when it comes to fast food. I don't have when it comes down to out of a can or bottle, I prefer can. It's Pepsi all the way. I will choose Pepsi 100% of the time. If I have the choice between Pepsi and Coke in a can or a bottle. When it comes to fountain drinks, I don't care. I probably prefer Coke. In fact, when I go into a drive-thru, I typically say a number one with a Coke. And they'll be like, we only have Pepsi products. I'm like, okay, then make it a Pepsi. I don't care. I know it was a big deal. It's a big deal. Culver's was founded just up the road from me, about 20 minutes, in Sauk City, Wisconsin. Craig Culver. But it's making a lot of waves here locally. People don't like it. I don't care. Korean Cardboard, 1989. Where's the beef? Where's the beef? Dan says Anastasia Love Sigorsky, also known as Stacy Keenan. I didn't know that was her real name. Is an American deputy district attorney, law professor, and former actress. Yeah. And I actually did know that. I couldn't remember exactly what her title was, but I did know she was out of acting and she's in law. And I learned that from the Boy Meets World podcast. Let's see. Ullman was the earliest of Fox. George says, Al Arnold's introduced Kenosha's own Weezer for the Buddy Holly video. Yes, that was another sidebar. The Buddy Holly music video was the very first music video I watched on a computer. It was 1996. And actually, that might have been when the song came out. It was on probably an AOL disc. My friend Scott, who, by the way, is getting hitched this summer. I don't think I made that announcement yet, but shout out to Scott. Scott's actually what I've talked about Scott before. He lives next to Club 400. That's where I crash. We go to Cubs games, all that stuff. We've known each other. We've been best friends since preschool. And his mom worked at the telephone company. And so he was the very first person I knew with this new phenomenon known as the internet, the World Wide Web, the information superhighway. And we would build GeoCities websites and watch the Buddy Holly video and play Need for Speed on his computer back in 1996. Let's see. Brendan Ryan, what's up? Good morning to you. Rich says, we'll take Al Molinaro's career for 200, Alex. Al Molinaro was Al. I know this is hard. Tamales. Thank you, Victor. Yes, those tamales were phenomenal. Flipping Sports Guy. Yeah, where is Low Roller? I want to hear some bad takes. I hope he's putting out some content. We need some new videos. Al took over for Arnold. I reversed it. Let's see. Come on, John. This isn't hard. Then Al moved on to hawking DiGiorno's Pizza. Augusta says, was it nice being at the show and not being set up? Guessing you had plenty of time to walk around, shop, and enjoy it. That's a great question. It's actually, I enjoy both sides of it. I I think I enjoyed it more not setting up this month because it was so busy. And I would not have had any time. I would have made more money, but I would not have had time to actually enjoy it. If that makes any sense. But it's also nice to set up and have like a spot, because when I don't set up, like I use like the kitchen, like I have all my stuff in the kitchen. So I go into the kitchen and grab my cooler and get a water or put my boxes and cards, and I don't have like a spot. So that's like the only downside. But with how busy it was, it would not have been fun actually setting up a table because it would not have allowed me the freedom to walk around all day. Let's see. Al Molinaro, the actor, played Al Del Vecchio. Flipping Sports Guy says, triple. Who knew we would talk so much about Al Molinaro on Hobby Evolution? That's how we evolve. Flipping Sports Guy, Triple H actually used the Legends right compared to how Vince used to on these anniversary shows. I'll agree. So let's talk a little wrestling. We're going to talk Hall of Fame as well. So last night was the 30th. Can you believe it's been 30 years since Monday Night Raw debuted at the Manhattan Center in 1993? Gosh, so much has changed. The Manhattan Center seats, what, 3,000? Now they're in front of like 20,000. They've got the Jumbotrons and all this fancy. I mean, it's crazy how it's evolved. The evolution of Monday Night Raw. But I agree. The Legends were used in a great way. And I know in the past they've used them in like the poker game segment. That's kind of been played out. And I thought about that last night as I'm watching, the million. I loved IRS, Erwin R. Shyster, IRS, who's also the father of Bray Wyatt. I don't think we've seen Mike Rotundo, aka IRS, in a segment in a long time. So the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase, he's and he wins money, and then one of the other wrestlers wins a bunch of money, and here comes IRS, and he's gonna make you pay your taxes. So I thought that was great. I thought that was I thought about it. It's like, man, this is overplayed. The poker segment, it's a little overplayed. But really, how else do you get multiple characters and you see them in the background? Like there's different wrestlers, modern wrestlers mixing it up with legends in the background. I didn't see Doink. I was disappointed there was no Doink the Clown. However, I turned it off at 9 p.m., but I'm guessing Doink the Clown did not make an appearance. But yeah, going with Flipping Sports Guy, I loved the way they used the legends in some of the storylines. Who came out, and it was between, was it The Undertaker? And he came out as the American Badass, which is a shitty, I mean, it's not even a gimmick. But it's like we haven't seen it in a long time. And the Undertaker gimmick, yeah, we know. Boom, we know. So I guess it was okay seeing the American Badass gimmick. He came out, and it was with LA Knight and Bray Wyatt. That was a great segment. DX came out, and I thought they played off Billy Gunn. Badass Billy Gunn was half of the tag team champions with the Road Dogg Jesse James. And so Billy Gunn is under contract with the rival, the competition, AEW. And I thought they did perfectly. They made light of the absence of Billy Gunn. DX comes out, and Kurt Angle is with D-Generation X. It's like, why is Kurt Angle with DX? They come out, and it's like they don't even realize it. And then the Road Dogg Jesse James gets out. The 6-time tag team champions of the world, the Road Dogg Jesse James, the bad. And it's Kurt Angle. And so I love the way they did that. And then that led into a storyline with, I think, Imperium came down, which I love the Imperium gimmick. And that set up a tag team or a triple or a 6-man tag match with somebody else. So I agree. Flipping Sports Guy, I thought it was great with how they infused the legends into storylines. Paige and Dee Bean says, proud new owner of a big Lay's barbecue chips with goat limited edition messy. Is it worth more unopened? I don't know. If you're hungry. Kyle says, fun fact, I just heard Barry Bonds has 688 intentional walks. Every Tampa Bay Rays player combined in history has 663. That is an amazing stat. That is amazing. And it's not like the Tampa Bay Rays have only been around for 10 years. They've been around for at least 20, 25 years now. When did the Rays come in? 96, 98? So good 25 years. Where are we at? Let's see. Christian says, oh yeah, that is the Paul McCartney video classic. Cooter thinks RC is the best cola. Come on. Do they have Coke or Pepsi in Oklahoma? RC? Let me guess, you're a Dad's root beer fan. SotoCad says, Coke here. My dad worked for Coke for over 40 years. Pepsi was not allowed in our house. That's kind of like in my house. We were a Pepsi house, and we were a Chevy house. And then that fateful day in 2003 when I brought a Ford Explorer into the driveway, and then it went all downhill. We were also Case. We just went to shit because I brought home a Ford after my dad. I had the bumper sticker or the sign. I'd rather push a Chevy than drive a Ford. And then I show up with a Ford Explorer. Then my mom bought a Ford. I think she bought an Escape. And then my dad, who worked 20, 25 years at Case, buys a John Deere lawnmower. He hated John Deere. Then I guess that's what retirement does to you. Let's see. Flipping Sports Guy says, when it's Fountain, I don't really care. I'm with you. But when the waitress says we carry Pepsi products, I go, okay, even better. I'm a Pepsi guy. But yeah, when it comes to Fountain, they taste about the same to me. Pepsi had better baseball cards. I don't remember Pepsi or Coke baseball cards. Oh, thanks for reminding me, Kyle. And cool fact, who is the only player in both the NFL and the Arena League Hall of Fame? I got to say Kurt Warner on that. Let's see. John's Mini Collections. Harlan in the house. I order a liter of cola. Mexican Cokes are the best. My father-in-law was a huge Mexican Coke fan because of the sugar. They use the real sugar. Let's see. John says and he would bring it, he would buy it by cases. Every time I get asked to do a line of Pepsi, me neither. Life was good when Coke came in 16-ounce deposit bottles. I think I'm with you on that. Plastic bottles suck. Give me a can all day. The one knock I have on glass bottles, though, is it's really hard. If you're thirsty, it's hard to just chug out of a glass bottle. I guess at least with a plastic bottle, you can just squeeze it and give me all the sugar. Pat Morita had a more interesting career. I would agree with that. Rich and I are the only here to remember Al Del Vecchio on The Odd Couple as a cop. Rich says Murray the cop. George used to do Crystal, John. Crystal Pepsi. Remember that? Oh, wow. Crystal Clear Pepsi. Terry is in the house. What's up, Terry? I've decided to list eggs on eBay in auction format. There you go. Mike Rotundo had a ton of different names in the wrestling world. Yeah, Mike Rotundo. He wrestled as Mike Rotundo, IRS. He was Mr. Wall Street in WCW. Let's see. He later was VK Wall Street, which is a play on words on Vincent K. McMahon, when he came back to WCW in the late 90s. What were some of other Mike Rotundo? Let's see. He had a tag team. They were the U.S. Express with Barry Windham in the WWF back around WrestleMania 1. And he was his father-in-law. Mike Rotundo's father-in-law was Blackjack Mulligan. And Mike Rotundo went to Syracuse. I think he was an All-American wrestler at Syracuse. He competed in football and amateur wrestling, became the Eastern Intercollegiate Wrestling Association champion in 1981. Letter winner all 4 years at Syracuse. He was Erwin R. Shyster, Michael Wall Street, Mike Durand, I don't remember that name, Mike Rotundo, VK Wall Street, Mr. Wall Street. Christian says, I loved IRS. He and Ted DiBiase, the Money Incorporated. Let's see. Hint will probably give it away. Undrafted Super Bowl champion quarterback. Good call. John puts us down for 2 dozen organic brown eggs. The Weezer video came on the Windows 95 installation CD. That's what it was. Yes. Windows 95 install CD. Where we at? Let's see. Scissor me, daddy. There's some AEW. There's an AEW reference. I love how people brag they were like 6-time champions. It means they lost it 5 times. Wouldn't it mean much more to have won it much longer? It's a good point. That's fair. Ric Flair, what was he? 16-time champion? But some of those reigns might have been 6 months. You're right. We don't have, remember what we talked about yesterday. We have short attention spans. We can't take, as wrestling fans, we can't take Bruno Sammartino having the championship for 16 years. We have to have new champions every 6 months. Let's see. Rich says RC is a great cola. Good morning, Brian. Pepsi and Chevy, that explains a lot. There it is. Kurt Warner, European Fanta, Dairyland Picker, Denny's in the house. Brian reminds me it's Brian, thank you. Tomorrow is the big one. It's recycle day. That's the biggie. We got to get that recycling bin down to the curb. It's overflowing. Pepsi and Cola had cards. Coke by the case. Who would have thought? John says Cy Young has 654 more complete games pitched than the Tampa Bay Rays. Del Vecchio. What was I saying? Del Vecchio? Now this is the McDonald's I need to go to. Jenny says eggs. Oh man, I decided the kids are painting potatoes this year for Easter. $5.80 for a dozen eggs. I used to pay 88 cents for it like 4 months ago. Here's what I did. I stopped eating eggs. Once they get to a certain price, I don't need eggs anymore. John says my dad did the taxes of his boyhood friends. Dude drove a Pepsi truck, so each April we'd get half a truck of 2-liter Pepsi bottles as payments. RC Cola in a moon pie. Yeah, I'm from the region near the Devil's Taint. Which wrestler had the most name changes? Was it Mick Foley? Oh, that's a good question. Like, there's been a lot of wrestlers with just a ton of different gimmicks. I mean, look at Kane. Kane had a bunch of gimmicks. He was, let's see. He was, of course, Kane. He was Unabomb in Smoky Mountain Wrestling. He was the fake Diesel. He was Bruiser Mastino, Angus King, the Christmas Creature, which I think only appeared once or twice. Let's see. Doomsday, Isaac Yankem, DDS, Mike Unabomb. He was Sid Powers, and Spartacus. Let's see. Mick Foley had 3 like main. Oh, that's not what we want. Let's see. We want Mick Foley, wrestler. So Mick Foley, he wrestled as Mick Foley. He wrestled as Mankind, Cactus Jack. Let's see. Dude Love. Those were basically his, so he was actually originally Cactus Jack Manson, and then he dropped the Manson. And I think that was, according to his book, he dropped that on his own. He didn't like being compared to Manson. And then let's see, Mick Foley, Mankind, Jack Foley. He wrestled as Jack Foley, I think, as a enhancement talent in WWF in the like early to mid 80s. Where are we at? Heritage eggs are the best. Yolk is bright orange. Going to be close to see if either both make the Hall of Fame tonight. Yeah, we're going to talk Hall of Fame. And what did I say? Hopefully it's not an hour in, but guess what? It's going to be an hour in before we talk Hall of Fame. Speaking of eggs, just saw a meme of old eggs on stove. This is your brain on drugs commercial, probably played on Fox in 1987. Rich says Iron Sheik had like a 9-day championship run. Yeah, they had to bridge it between Bob Backlund, and Hulk Hogan. So the Iron Sheik was he got the belt on the rebound. He was the rebound guy. Augusta, can't afford the eggs. Gas stoves are outlawed. Now drugs are all you get. 16-time world champ reminds me of someone who keeps losing their car keys. Herman's glad he has chickens. Isaac Yankum, DDS. We remember exactly 2 baseball players who changed their names. 1 football player and 2 basketball players. Let's see. I remember, basketball, there's been multiple. Basketball, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, of course, probably the most famous, formerly Lou Alcindor. Chris Jackson to Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf. Who was the other one that I was thinking of just now? Ron Artest changed his name, and I'm sure there's more. Let's see. Baseball players, we had Stanton. Who was another baseball player that changed his name? Football player. Who are football players that changed their names? Kane is from Bowling Green, Missouri, 40 minutes south of Quincy. Didn't he go to Quincy? Do I have his Wikipedia page? Oh, shoot. Kane. Oh, no, he went to Northeast Missouri State, which is that Truman State now? Let's see. Rich Klein. Somebody went to Quincy. What wrestler went to Quincy University? Also, Stan the Man Stasiak. That's throwing it way back. He was one of the original WWF champions. Had like an 11-day run between Pedro Morales and Bob Backlund. Let's look. Stan Stasiak, and I think his son was Sean Stasiak. Stan the Man Stasiak. Let's see. He was champion in 1973. Yes, Sean Stasiak was his son. Let's see. When was he champion? Stan Stasiak. Let's see. In his debut match, he challenged WWF champion Pedro Morales in Madison Square Garden. Let's see. In September 1971, he unsuccessfully challenged Bobo Brazil for the United States Heavyweight Championship, blah, 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 blah. So, he returned in 73 with the Grand Wizard as his manager. Let's see. So, he must have lost it to Bruno Sammartino. Let's see. I think he lost it to Bruno. Where we at? I eat a lot of eggs, says George. I buy crates of 30 because they cost the same as a carton of 10 in Korea. Let's see. I think I skipped ahead. Yes, our eggs come in cartons of 10. You can't have a good guy beating a good guy for a championship. Absolutely. Metal World Peace. There you go. Walt Hazard. I did not realize he changed his name. Let's see. What about Lloyd? Lloyd Free. World B. After watching John's video, he needs to bring his label maker to your basement and organize your cards. My OCD would appreciate it. Hey, I would appreciate that too. Tim Raines to Rock Reigns. Let's see. World Be Free. The Chris Jackson was the hard one. Good for you. Don Adam. Zaid Abdul Aziz. Michael Jackson, the football player. Albert Joey Bell. Ocho Cinco. Oh, yeah. Chad Ocho Cinco. Ahmad Rashad. What was Ahmad Rashad's name before Ahmad Rashad? Rasmussen changed his names in the 70s. He hate me. Let's see. Giancarlo. Boxing World, Muhammad Ali. Rich Klein says, Stan the Man Stasiak's son is a Cairo in Plano. Is that Sean, or did he have another son? Mike Kekich's wife changed her name as well. Bobo Brazil was a great name. Bruce Jenner changed names. He did. She did. Ever follow the Bison Dele story? Another name change and interesting downfall. I don't think so. So did Richard Raskin, Renee Richards. He is back to Walt Hazard. Kane started at QU. Okay, so that's what I was thinking. Kane was at QU. Let's see. Dwight Gooden to Doc Gooden. Bobby Moore. Bobby Moore was a mod. I did not. Steve Garvey to Dick. Warren Armstrong to Warren Jabali. I did not realize Warren Jabali had changed his name. Let's see. Okay, let's talk Hall of Fame. We're only 54 minutes into the show. The announcement, by the way, for the Baseball Hall of Fame, the Writers Association ballot is going to be announced. The show starts at 3 p.m. Somebody mentioned earlier The actual announcement will probably come closer to 5 p.m. Central Time. So right now, baseball tracker Ryan Thibodeau, Hall of Fame tracker, looks like he has 186 public ballots, and the most recent is from Adam Mertz, who added 3 new players to his ballot this year, including A-Rod. Thank you, Mr. Mertz. He also added Todd Helton and Andrew Jones. So Andrew Jones is now on 25 new ballots from last year, and let's see. Jeff Kent is on 31 new ballots this year. Billy Wagner is now to 73.7%. Thibodeau says, which I think may be his high watermark since he started the cycle 3 for 3. So those are some numbers. So let's get into the tracker numbers. So right now, with more than 75% of the vote, again, this is through 100, it looks like on the tracker spreadsheet, through 177, through 186 total ballots. 177 were public, 9 came in anonymously. So in 186 Hall of Fame ballots to date, which is 47% of known ballots, Todd Helton and Scott Rolen have surpassed 75%. Todd Helton is at 80.1%. Scott Rolen is at 79%. Next closest, I believe, is Billy Wagner. It is. He's at 73.7%. Now, the private ballots typically drop those numbers. As Uncle Rich mentioned yesterday, it was mainly the PED guys that really fell off hard from the public ballots. Typically, the public ballots skewed heavily in favor of PED guys, while the private ballots did not favor those PED users. So I wanted to go look back at the last couple years to look at Todd Helton and Scott Rolen and how their numbers fared between public and private, because they are not in those PED conversations. So let's go back 2 years ago to 2021. Where are we at? Let's see. So Todd Helton 2 years ago on public ballots was at 45.9%. His actual final percent was 44.9%. So Todd Helton 2 years ago only dropped 1 percentage point from the known or from the public ballots to the final tally. Scott Rolen, on the other hand, his drop was a little more significant. Scott Rolen went from 57.1% on public ballots in 2021 to 52.9%. So about a 4% drop from public to total. So that was 2 years ago. Last year, the 2022 ballot, Todd Helton went from 54.5% on public ballots. Look at the big jumps these guys have made. And he was 52% overall. So last year, he actually dropped 2.5 percentage points from public to total. Scott Rolen went from 69, look at that big jump, 69.8% on public ballots, but he was only 63.2% altogether, so a drop of like 6.5%. So Scott Rolen has dropped about 5%, 4 to 5% on average the last couple of years, while Helton's been 1 to 2%. So I think both of these guys are going to get elected. Todd Helton's at 80.1% right now on public ballots. And if you take that average into consideration, even if it's a little more, say it's 3%, he's still well above 75%, well above percentage mark, 77%, 78%. I think Todd Helton's going to get in. Scott Rolen, on the other hand, it's going to be close because, again, he's been dropping the last couple years between public and total 4 to 6%. Right now, he's at 79%. So can he make up that difference on the private ballots? It's going to be close. So if it's 4%, he's going to just squeak in. If it's 5%, he may fall just short. So will Scott Rolen and Todd Helton together get in on this ballot? It's going to be really close. I think Todd Helton is going to get in. Scott Rolen's going to be really dang close. And I don't know if I could put I wouldn't put money on it for Scott Rolen. I think Todd Helton's in. I would put money on that. I don't know if Scott Rolen can get in. It's going to be really I mean, can he get it? Obviously, yes, he absolutely can get in. But can Scott Rolen? I don't know. So I think for me, it's it's a toss-up. But I don't think we're going to be shut out on the writer's ballot this year. I think Todd Helton is going to get in. Scott Rolen is going to get really dang close. No other player on this ballot will get in. So it's going to be interesting. 3:00 is when the show begins on MLB Network, and probably 5 p.m. is when they'll finally make the announcement. The thing is, Todd Helton and Scott Rolen are the two favorites to get in on this ballot, and neither of them are in my 4 that I would put in on this ballot. And I mentioned that yesterday. The 4 that I would put in on this ballot, Carlos Beltran, Manny Ramirez, Alex Rodriguez, and Gary Sheffield. And then Billy Wagner and Jeff Kent, you could probably talk me into it. Todd Helton and Scott Rolen, I just don't know. I don't know. I'd have to really dig in, and I don't. Cooter mentioned, I saw Cooter drop in a comment about the Hall is dead to me. I mean, it's kind of I've kind of just resigned to the fact, this guy's in, you might as well put this guy in. That's kind of where I'm at. Might as well. We're at a large hall now. Might as well just keep it. John mentions Gil Hodges is going in the class of 2023. Gil Hodges hasn't played in 60 plus years. All of a sudden he's a Hall of Famer. Come on. He hasn't been a Hall of Famer in 60 years. What makes him a Hall of Famer in 2023? I'm with Cooter. The Hall is dead to me, but I'm still going to talk about it because I enjoy following the process. Ryan Thibodeau does a fantastic job, and he's got a team that gathers these ballots. It's really cool. It's fun to watch. It's fun to discuss, debate, all that fun stuff. What else was said in the chat? Let's see. Mark Marinello, you hopped on right in. If you want, so here's a spoiler. If you want to hear me talk about the topic, just skip ahead to the 55-minute mark, and I'll eventually get to it. I think yesterday it was an hour 20 before I started talking about Brian Gray. Today it was the 55-minute mark before we started talking about the Hall of Fame. But if you want to hear me talk about Taco Tuesday, conversation about who in the hell was the cook on Happy Days, my first memory of the internet and wrestling, and then you can watch the rest of the 55 minutes. Let's see. Cat Stevens. Yeah. Was it Yusuf Islam? John says Mertz equals hero. I agree. That was a good add to his ballot with those players. Henry, what's up? I know I won't get elected to the Hall of Fame, but I believe Reindeer Studios and Lou Rock TV has a good chance. Oh, the YouTube Hall of Fame. Yes. Cat Stevens isn't even his effing name. Sorry. Triggered. Andrew Jones is gaining steam. BB Hall of Fame tracker is popular today. I can't even get the site loaded. Well, I'm glad that I had mine pulled up. Let's see. Doubt anyone will go in other than McGriff. Let's see. Brian says, I'm with Cooter. The Hall of Fame is dead to me. Flipping Sports Guy says, wow, Helton at 80% now, according to Baseball Hall of Fame tracker, with 47% public. Rolen lost a couple votes from last year, too. GNC baseball cards, scrub time in the Hall of Fame. Gil Hodges went in with McGriff. Let's see. I trust only LRS's Hall of Fame predictions. Rest of you guys are lost. Kyle says Todd Helton's 2000 stats are mind-boggling. Brian says, I'm surprised no one mentioned Anakin Skywalker. Wait, Anakin Skywalker is Darth Vader? I did not know that. Oh, it makes sense. Luke, I am your father. I guess Anakin is Luke Skywalker's son. I've never watched Star Wars. So, and I try to, when I hear people talk about Star Wars, it's like, la, 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 la. Same with Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings. Helton in, but not Mattingly, is a travesty. Helton had 5 great years. That's it, and aided by Coors. GNC, time for them to finally put Rose in. I'm okay with Pete Rose not being. Pete Rose is a clown, and I really don't care if he's not in. He's made a mockery of all of this. He agreed to not be involved in baseball. Like, that was his punishment, and he's like, I'm cool with it. I'm okay with it. But there's other guys that I think should, like Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens, Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa, Rafael Palmeiro. Those guys should be in the Hall of Fame. Henry says, I'm aided by Coors as well. Hey, that's the comment of the day. Henry with the star. Yes. Coors got me through the Cubs convention. Coors Light. Gil went in last year. That's what I thought. Thank you, Mark. I thought Gil Hodges went in last year. Fred McGriff's the only player that's going in the class of 2023. For now. That may change in a few hours. Augusta says, I agree, CNC. If they don't have evidence that he bet on his own games, what is the big deal that it's so life-changing, keeping him out of the Hall? The thing is, he's keeping himself out of, like, he kept himself out of the Hall. Like, he agreed, like, yes, I won't, like, it was on his own volition. And now he's making an ass out of himself. For the last 15 years, he's made an ass out of himself. And now it's like, who cares? Who cares? We all know he was good. He was a great player. He was a Hall of Fame player. Pete Rose, there's no denying his stats. Pete Rose is a Hall of Fame talent. He doesn't get a plaque in Cooperstown. I don't give a damn anymore because he's made a mockery of everything, not just baseball, but everything. And it's not his betting on baseball. I don't give a damn about him betting on baseball. It's what he's done in the last 10, 15 years. He's a freaking clown. Let's see. And 10 years ago, I was like, Pete Rose should be in the Hall of Fame. And like, I've weakened, that stance has weakened over time as Pete Rose makes a clown over himself over and over and over again. And now it's like, I don't give a damn. Pete Rose doesn't need to have a plaque in Cooperstown. We all know he was a Hall of Fame talent. So many squirrels to chase early in the stream. That's true. There's so many squirrels to chase. Oh, I forgot. Ooh, it's like Pong, just in like super speed. If you have no reference to controversy and happened upon A-Rod stats, holy moly, some awesome numbers. Definitely. Harlan says spoilers. Henry coming up clutch. Pete Rose slept with underage girls apparently often. That's also been rumored, and that's disgusting. Brian says, I feel the same when people talk about wrestling. Fingers in ears. La, 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 la. Kane, Erwin Archeister, Ted DiBiase, la, 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 la. That's the supposed pressure MLB put on him to accept the ban. Hall of Fame needs side building by the toilets with asterisk people. I agree on Rose. He's a clown. Mark says, Pete Rose is keeping Pete Rose. Exactly. Pete Rose is his own worst enemy. He won't shut up. If Pete Rose would have kept his mouth shut and just been a good little boy, he'd be in the Hall of Fame already. He would be in the Hall of Fame. But he's made an ass out of himself for the last 10 plus years, and he's keeping himself out of the Hall of Fame. Mark nailed it. Pete Rose is keeping Pete Rose out of the Hall of Fame. Well said. Rose intentionally broke the number one rule that hangs in every locker room. He considered himself above the game. Rose can rot. John says half the people in the Hall of Fame right now would need asterisks. Henry just lost his attaboy. I meant people not in yet. We just celebrated the life of Gaylord Perry, an avowed cheater. That's very true. Then there's Cap Anson. That's also true. Yeah, there's a lot of assholes in the Hall of Fame. So I don't get the holier than thou. Well, he did this. He did that. Well, look at who else. It's kind of like, well, it's like they're trying to reinvent the wheel. But I guess that goes against like my whole thought process. It's like, just because Harold Baines is a Hall of Fame doesn't mean that should be an argument for and against. Like, don't use one player sneaking in. So I don't know. I'm arguing with myself. So that's my take. I think Todd Helton will be elected into the Hall of Fame today. I think Scott Rolen may or may not be elected. I don't know. It's going to be really close. Scott Rolen's going to be right there. I think Scott Rolen, if you had to like make me make a decision right now, what my thought is on Scott Rolen getting in today, I would say Scott Rolen is going to sneak in. Final answer. Scott Rolen is going to sneak in like 75.5%, 76%. That's my final answer. I think Todd Helton ends up with 77% of the vote. So Todd Helton, 77% Hall of Famer. Scott Rolen, 75. Let's just pull a number out of my ass. Scott Rolen ends up with 75.8%. Scott Rolen, 75.8%. Let's write this down. Right? I'm writing it down, Brian. What did I say? Helton. I'm going to go final answer 77.1. Todd Helton, 77.1. Scott Rolen. What did I say? Scott Rolen, 75.8. Writing it down. Write it down. 75.8. So I think Todd Helton and Scott Rolen. If you would have 3 weeks ago, I said nobody on this writer's ballot's getting in. And now today, just hours away from the announcement, I now think 2 players will be elected. Final answer, Todd Helton, Hall of Famer. He's going to get 77.1% of the votes. Scott Rolen will get in with 75.8% of the votes. Let's see. And then we're going to wrap it up. One more cruise around the chat. Zach says, weren't you just doing that to Rose? He'd do this, he'd do that. Probably. SCA Sports Card. How does Wagner have 72% and K-Rod has 8.9%? K-Rod as good or better than Wagner? Cooter says, Bud Selig is more responsible for the PED era than any player. I agree 100%. And that's kind of arguing with myself. Well, if Bud Selig and David Ortiz are in, why not A-Rod? Bud Selig turned a blind eye and he was laughing his way to the bank because baseball is back, baby, 98. So you might as well open the floodgates. We might as well just open the floodgates. Harold Baines is in, so most of the players on this ballot should be in the Hall of Fame. Bud Selig is in. David Ortiz is in. You might as well let the rest of the players in. And while we're at it, let's put Pete Rose and Joe Jackson in too. Might as well make it a large Hall of Fame, right? I mean, how can you, and it's not like Bud Selig and David Ortiz were elected 20 years ago. And all of a sudden we have new discovery that some of these players were using or allegedly using PEDs. No, these guys were elected, David Ortiz, a year ago. At the same time, other PED users are getting punished, but David Ortiz was a nice guy. We like Big Papi. Screw you, Hall of Fame voters. You're all clowns. Well, the ones that didn't vote for the PED guys. There's some decent ones that got it right. Vote for Pedro. Mark says, I missed the wrestling portion of the program. Rats. Yesterday was the 39th anniversary of Hulk Hogan beating the Iron Sheik at Madison Square Garden. I was there in the nose. That's super cool. If you had the ticket stub for that today, oh my gosh. Agreed. SCA, K-Rod, and Wagner are neck and neck and neither belong in. Ooh. Mike O says, Pete Rose, the player, is well represented on the Hall of Fame Museum, as well as Barry Bonds, etc. They are simply not honored or enshrined in the hall. John says, can't wait for Roland's speech. Best nap I'll have all year. Dude is a total bore. Zach says, let's see. Zach said, oh, wait, where am I at? Zach's original comment. The Hall of Fame is filled with cheaters, assholes, and commissioners who let bad things happen and look the other way. Agree. Flipping Sports Guy says, no modern player under 2,000 hits has made the Hall. Rolen pushing the limits with 2,077. Wow. Augusta says, if you were correct, you win a pack of 1988 Topps baseball. Yes. Hey, I've got some right next to me. Flipping Sports Guy says, other than Rookie of the Year and a few Gold Gloves, Rolen has done nothing in his career. It's sad. Burn 88 tops along with the 88 Donruss. So it sounds like we don't want to play Name That Player with 88 tops or Donruss this week. It's good that I bought a bunch of packs on Saturday. Also looking forward to exit velocity and launch angle getting elected to the Hall. I don't think we're far from that. In 25 years, that's probably going to be, the game's evolving and the stats will evolve. And in 25 years, it wouldn't surprise me if some of those nerd stats, the analytic stats, are eventual benchmarks to get into the Hall of Fame. Let's see. John says, I'll make the trip to Cooperstown for that. Zach says, PEDs have always been in the game, still are today. The drugs move faster than the testing to catch it. I agree. Look at today's athlete. They are on performance-enhancing drugs, just can't catch them. Henry says, Kent to Colby should be in. For his glasses alone. But is Bud responsible for the PED era, or are the fans? The customer sometimes deserves the blame. Hey, give the fans what they want, right? We all wanted it. Let's see. John says Frank Thomas is peddling PEDs right now. Hypocrite. Henry gets his attaboy back. Augusta says, I see what you mean about the emails from eBay. Is there a way to turn off certain notifications like when a card is listed? I haven't figured it out because right now, I also don't clean up my personal email account either, but they don't come in as fast and furious as my eBay emails. 180,000. The exact count, 180,105 unread emails. Let's see. David Ortiz's smile and broken English make the media go, "Aw, look at him. We love him regardless of what happened." Yep. John, I'd acknowledge your comment about Frank, but I said hi to you well over an hour ago, and you didn't even flip me the bird. Let's see. John says, I'm in a zone right now. Bo is touching me on the doll everywhere. Let's see. The nerd stats are why people talking about Chase Utley getting in by his last season on ballot. WAR will play a major role, which sucks. Yeah, WAR is going to be the first. That's going to be the first nerd stat that is going to be like in Hall of Fame talks. WAR. So all of you anti-war baseball people, get ready. The game is not evolving. It's de-evolution. Are we not men? We are devil. What the fuck is going on with both? Oh, I said the F word. Devo. I need a haircut. Today is haircut. I was going to get a haircut yesterday, but I didn't feel like it. So, Bing Scott says, do you think CC Sabathia will be a first ballot Hall of Famer? No. No, I don't think so. Will CC Sabathia will get in because he's got that David Ortiz. People love CC Sabathia. Hell, I love David Ortiz. I love CC Sabathia. But I think he's a popular player, so I think he'll get in. I think he'll get in on that along with his baseball merits. I don't think he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. But the voting, the way people vote has changed. It's not first ballot Hall of Famers aren't as in vogue as they were 20 years ago. Looks like something about Mary again. Flipping Sports Guy, Hall of Fame should be plain and simple, one and done. Yep. We talked about it yesterday. I'm totally in agreement with that. You're either a Hall of Famer or you're not. You have 5 years to decide. If you're a voter, you have 5 years to decide. In the frickin' era committees, I think those are stupid. I said it. Gil Hodges, why is he a Hall of Famer in 2022 and he hasn't played a frickin' game in 70 years or 60 years or however long? Stupid. Era committees, stupid. Hall of Fame voting, stupid. Hall of Fame is dead to me like Cooter. No, wait, I said that wrong. Cooter's not dead to me. The Hall of Fame is dead to me like the Hall of Fame is dead to Cooter. There. Use your English, Bo. How about Bartolo Colon? Not a Hall of Famer. Let's see. I get notified every time I get outbid. I don't bid on much, so that's probably why otherwise I'd have a lot more emails. Stukes, baseball cards, and curiosity. I love that name. War, good God, you all. What is it good for? Edwin Starr. If people want Kurt in but say no because of his attitude, then CC should be in early. Same numbers, but more wins. CC, 3,000 strikeouts will get in, probably take a few years. I'm with you. John says, but if the deciders are incompetent, then 5 years isn't enough. That's true. It'll never be enough. If the writers are incompetent 5 years from now, what makes them competent in 10 or 15? Writers have never played the game. They certainly aren't aware of the history of the sport. I like an active Mike O in the chat. I use Gixon. I never get notified until the thing is over. There you go. So that's what I had for today. Tacos, happy days, internet, wrestling, Hall of Fame, Pete Rose is a clown. That's what we had. So thanks for tuning in. Like the video. Even if you don't like my opinions, like the video. Just do it for me. Just be a nice person. That's your good deed for the day. Like the video. Subscribe to the channel. And I'll be back on tomorrow morning with Hall of Fame Fallout on Wednesday's edition of Hobby Evolution. Tomorrow's also trash day. If you're a Wednesday trash people, don't forget to take your trash. And if you're here, recyclables. So like, subscribe, all that stuff. My eBay store link is in the description. Don't forget, I'll be in the Rockford Card Show Saturday. My quarter boxes. I will be looking to sell those in bulk as well. So if you're looking for bulk, I'll be in Rockford Saturday, 9 to 3 at the IBEW Banquet Hall. With that, I bid you adieu. Have a great Tuesday, and we'll talk tomorrow.